Have you done online dating? It's one of those things, isn't it? I'd say about a decade ago, it was a bit like, oh, you're online dating, are you? And now it absolutely is completely run of the mill. But it can be a little bit daunting. So the way in which you put yourself out there, whether you should, whether you shouldn't, will you meet a person who's actually a real life person, or will you be scammed? And that's before you start to think about the photos that you're going to put up yourself. So, are you going to be glamorous? Natural, maybe somewhere a bit exotic in the back garden. All of these kind of things might be on your mind. Well, let me introduce you to Gemma Wilks, who's from West Bridgford, who saw a gap in the market during the pandemic when the online dating stepped up a notch, and she started a company called We Just Clicked. Gemma is here now. Hello, Gemma. Thank you for coming here. Can I just start by saying how brilliant the name of your business is? We Just Clicked. It's perfect.
Do you know, it just slipped into my mind one day, and I was like, it's just perfect.
Well, yeah, absolutely, because you take photos for people's online dating profiles. It's fantastic.
The idea came from, so me and my partner did just click, and the click of a camera.
Yeah, it's really good. So tell me then a little bit more about how this idea came about.
So I was online dating, some might say serial online dating, for 2 years until I met my partner, Jamie, on Tinder. He really stood out from everyone else I'd ever seen, anyone else's profiles, because he had really decent photos. He actually had a professionally shot photo as his main profile photo, and I remember what he was wearing. It was against a nice crisp background. He had a white shirt on and lovely salmon chinos, and I thought, he looks lovely. Click through,
swipe right,
yeah. We matched. Brilliant. But it got me thinking how little effort people actually put into creating a good first impression. You do it on LinkedIn in your professional life, so why not do it with online dating? Your profile is a marketing tool, essentially. So I thought, hang on, everyone's photos are rubbish. I'm a decent photographer. Let's,
put the two together.
Exactly.
And this is what you do. You take photos for people's online dating profile.
I do. It's my actual job. It's the best job in the world.
Is it?
Yeah, I love it.
And it must just be magical, because you're at the start of somebody. They're looking to find somebody, and here they do. They come to you and they say, "Look, help me, make me look good." So what do you do then?
Exactly. That's it. Well, we'll start off by 95% of my clients are men.
Oh,
so there's
that's
definitely
interesting.
a pattern there, and essentially, I take them out on a photo shoot, and the idea is I totally relax them in my company in front of my camera and take really natural and real photographs of them. Women, on the other hand, and women I've spoken to, are happy to just ask their mates to take photos of them when they're out and about. They can be a little bit more posy and stuff like that, whereas the gents, I find, just want someone to take it off their hands, do this for me, make my profile,
Yeah. So where would you take them? Like a park or a pub, or?
It depends. Generally where there's really bright, bold backdrops. So Hockley in Nottingham city centre is one of my favourite locations to shoot in. If, however, they are really outdoorsy people and they love going walking and stuff, we might go to a more rural setting with really beautiful backdrops and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is all about standing out, getting noticed, and those bright backdrops. The idea is that they stop people in their scroll.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting, isn't it? Because because I have also done a fair amount of online dating, Gemma. And I remember very vividly the kind of photos that you get, and a lot of them are not on nights out, so they're very dark. Every now and again, you might get somebody who's at a wedding in a suit, or they might be on holiday, but they're very generic, aren't they? And almost every single guy seems to have the same set of photos.
Yeah, if someone's climbed a large hill.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about the large hill that I climbed.
Lots of photos of men conquering hills.
Yeah, fish.
Fish? What is
caught
it
a
with
massive
the fish?
The idea, so with that I did date someone once who had a photo, a lovely guy. He had a photo of him posing with this huge fish that he caught, and then it's either he is going to smell of the fish that he's caught, or potentially he's going to be out fishing all of the time.
Yeah.
Which it doesn't appeal to me.
No.
Whatsoever.
So do you worry then maybe with the photos that, I mean, this isn't a concern for you, of course, but the concern for maybe the people that you're taking photos of, that maybe you're removing them away from their real life and presenting an image online that isn't accurate
not at
to
all.
their...
I mean, the idea is that you leave some mystery and desire with your online profile, because you need to have stuff to talk about and explore when you're actually dating, when you're on your physical dates. So there's nothing wrong with... I mean, yeah, you can have a photo of a fish. I don't care. Just use your photo with your big, massive fish. But your main profile photo, it has to capture the trust and honesty in your eyes. And that's what people are looking for when they're looking for a serious relationship, at the very least.
Yeah.
You can have a photo with your fish later down, in your other photos, or the big hill that you climbed, or the things you've achieved, or your bike that you ride and stuff like that. But there's other elements to your profile where you can pick those things out. So in your written profile, another thing that I found is that people are really poor at writing about themselves, because they either write too little, too much, or just don't know what words to use.
Yeah, so do you help with that as well?
Yeah, I do. I write people's profiles for them.
Do you?
And it's all based around their morals and values and what they're looking for in a partner. So I send them a survey out, they fill it out, and then I go back to them to probe a little bit further, and then I write them a profile. I also write them a shorter version for profiles like Tinder that only allow you to use like 500 characters and stuff like that, because it's really hard to write.
Right, this is it, Gemma. I'm going to have to ask you for your top tips. So, first of all, your top tips on taking photographs. What would you suggest?
Natural daylight.
Yeah,
absolutely, and get someone else to do it for you. Like the thing.
No
for
selfies
me,
then.
See, my mission is to abolish the bathroom selfie.
Oh.
So I don't know if you ever saw those ones where the guy stood there in the mirror, the toilet's in the background, bottle of domestos, that kind of thing. So
at least they're clean.
At least they're clean. Well, you should see the status. Some of the bathrooms in the photos, but try not to take a selfie, because it actually whacks your facial proportions out a little bit. So your nose might look a little bit more bulbous than it actually is. Whereas if you get someone else to take the photo for you, you're likely to be a lot more relaxed. So they're going to capture natural angles of you and you laughing and smiling in a natural manner as well.
Okay.
So natural light and no selfies are my
They're your top tips.
And another one that it's amazing, the amount of clients, early days when I first started doing this, who didn't iron their clothes when they came on a photo shoot. There was one guy who pulled his clothes out of a Tesco bag and they were like just a crumpled up mess, to be honest. And I was like, look, if you're going to invest in a suite of professionally captured photos, at least iron your clothes.
Yeah,
make a little bit of an.
Can't just shake this one out, can you? There's no chance of that happening.
Not at all.
And then you kind of touched then, didn't you, on how you would write your profile? But it's not necessarily a list of the hobbies that you like, but it's more about the characteristics that you like in others and that you see in yourself as well. Yeah.
So with the profile, you do write a little bit about yourself, obviously, but you just don't bang on about yourself, so to speak. But the important thing for me and the way I write people's profiles is to almost ask questions within it, which makes it easy for the person reading your profile to make the first move, because it gives them something to go on. Or you've asked them the question and then it's like, oh, I can just go and answer that. That'll be my conversation starter with this person.
Okay. So that's clever. That is clever. Have you been? So did you leave a kind of a? I mean, obviously photography is a traditional job, but have you kind of left another job in order to start this?
I have. I was working as a digital designer in higher education for close to 14 years. I mean, that's a long time in the same role. And I was always thirsty to do something else. And I've always run businesses aside of any full-time job that I've ever had. And there was an opportunity in 2020 during the start of the pandemic to take voluntary redundancy. So I kind of snapped it up really and thought, this is it now. This is the time to do it. Because I had a little bit of a financial backbone to kind of fall back on if needed.
Yeah.
And now I do it full time.
You've just done it, and it's just
I did it. I wish I'd done it earlier.
Do you?
I do, yeah. Like, I'm so much happier than I was sort of as an employee, and like the flexibility it's given me in life is just unreal. Like being able to go to the gym in the daytime and walk the dog when I want, go for random lunches and stuff, and work like my work around my lifestyle is just, it's the future. Yeah.
Have you had any successes? Do people come back to you and tell you that, your photo, your blurb helped them meet somebody?
Yeah, so I mean, occasionally I get messages from people saying, I'm so glad that I used your services. I've got like a guy who came up from Margate recently to have a photo shoot in Nottingham, and he'd just moved to Margate, and he messaged to say, really pleased I came up and had the shoot with you. I've got a date lined up on Sunday. And he'd only had the photos done that week before, so that's really nice. And I've also got a client from a couple of years ago who said that he's planning his wedding, which is
Gemma.
pretty amazing.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Do I buy a hat?
Are they booking you in?
That's the one thing I will never
photos.
photograph.
Oh,
are weddings. I'm not a massive fan of weddings. I just never really caught on.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I think you should buy a hat. You definitely need to angle to be a guest here. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
You've put the hours in.
I have.
You've got them to
I've
where they
contributed
are.
to this.
Yeah, exactly. And with regards to, your romance and did you take your own photos for your dating profile when you met? Is it Jamie?
Jamie, yeah. No, and I'm going to sound really bad here because I didn't have professional photos.
Was it all a selfie in a toilet?
Some selfies, some that my friends had taken. But, you can have a mix.
Yeah.
But the idea is your main profile photo. I didn't have a lot of online dating success. Like I said earlier, I probably could have been labelled a serial dater. I went on lots of dates with lots of different people. But I mean, I learnt so much about myself when I was online dating, and I learnt a lot about the things I did and didn't want in a future partner. But yeah, I didn't have professional photos. I hold my hands up. I don't know how much more success I would have had as a woman having professional photos, because mine were pretty good anyway.
Yeah.
Because I've always had an eye for a good photo.
Yeah. Where's next then? So you started this in the pandemic, and you're doing the photos and you're doing the blurb. Are you going to kind of almost expand out to be, I don't know, your own dating agency almost?
Ooh, who knows? One thing I did launch in November last year were in-person singles nights.
Oh wow! Oh, so maybe you are going to be a dating agency.
Oh, watch this space.
Watch
this space. But so these are in-person events where singles come along within a certain age category, and it's always a guide in terms of age, and it's just a bit of a mingling event, really. Like, it's really informal, really relaxed. Sometimes there's icebreakers. I create question cards that people can pick up around the room to make it easier to start a conversation with people. There's often your first drink and nibbles included in your ticket and stuff like that. I do have some March and April events in the pipeline at the minute. So Thursday the 3rd of March, and every first Thursday of the month is going to be 30s and 40s night at the Wine Room in the city centre. And on the third Wednesday of every month is 40s and 50s also at the Wine Room. And
it's interesting that that's the age ranges that you're going for. It's not kind of the 20s, it's not the younger age. You're finding it's the 30s, 40s, 50s.
It is the most popular. However, I am in the process of organising 20s and 30s nights and 50s and 60s nights.
Yeah,
and
okay.
I have had requests for an older age range as well.
How fascinating. Oh, well, Gemma, thank you for coming in and telling us a little bit more about it. It's great, and it's lovely to hear from somebody who's taken the plunge and it's all been really successful. And we can always do with tips on how to make our photos look better.